So now let's go ahead and talk about the down since day one-ish Usos. In 2016, they went from being lackeys to Roman Reigns to being full-fledged heels, something that fans were clamoring for in their character reinvention. And that led me saying on Twitter, like, so let's see if I get this straight. Nia Jax is a heel. The Usos can turn heel. Why can't Roman Reigns turn heel? But that's beside the point. The Usos would eventually start to rapidly change their look, their entrance theme and whatnot, and turn into more like thuggish, street-like gimmick, which I'm pretty certain I would not be surprised if someone went ahead and claimed racism and stereotyping, because that's how the human race operates. They get politically corrected. So, yeah. So, the Usos heading into 2017, they were still trying to get their footing on the whole new gimmick they're having to do, which they have said they have been wanting to do this for a long time now, and now with the brand extension, they can finally be allowed to do it. And with the combined powers of Ryan Ward, they would fulfill their destinies as heels of the tag team division. But speaking of which, the Usos on January 31st episode of SmackDown Live, American Alpha, who had won the tag team titles from the Wyatt family in a tag team turmoil match, a fatal four-way elimination match that involved Heath Slater and Rhino, and like I said, the Wyatt family, who were the champions at the time, by Luke Harper and Randy Orton. So the Usos were going to accept an open challenge from American Alpha, only to be interrupted by the rest of the tag team division, which resulted in a huge brawl. And sure enough, they would reignite their feud with American Alpha following Elimination Chamber after they had brutally attacked American Alpha, who eliminated them from the tag team turmoil match that they were in. And they had originally entered at fourth and eliminated the inaugural champions, Heath Slater and Rhino, aka Beauty and the Man Beast. And I was honestly surprised that American Alpha retained in that match, mostly because I thought for sure the Ascension would win. And that would have been actually surprising. But considering how the Ascension have not been built up for some time, and they were only there just to add depth to the tag team division, yeah, I understand why they didn't do that. Yeah, the Usos practically did nothing for Royal Rumble, I believe. Like, yeah, I don't think they were even on the kickoff. That really says something. Yeah, they weren't on the kickoff. That was mostly reserved for Raw superstars and only one SmackDown team of women. So, yeah, that was to be expected. After then, they went ahead and continued their tormenting attacks and promos against American Alpha, going all gangster-like. The teams faced off in a non-title match on March 14th, which the Usos won, and subsequently, by logic, earning them a title match on the March 21st episode of SmackDown Live, where the Usos and American Alpha were delivering a pretty awesome match. And here's the thing, WrestleMania is only a few weeks away. I was wondering, wait, why aren't they in the match? Why didn't they do this at WrestleMania? Like, wouldn't it have been better if they had saved it for WrestleMania? But considering how bloated the card was becoming, I think I understand why they didn't. So, by beating the American Alpha team and winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, they have become the first team to have won both the Raw Tag Team Championship, formerly the WWE Tag Team Championship at the time, and SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. So, yeah, surprisingly, they did not give it to Reigns because Vince has a fetish. And then, everyone was wondering where the Usos were going to go to WrestleMania now that they're champions. Are they going to have a match with American Alpha, trying to one-up their successful matchup on a SmackDown Live, delivering a pay-per-view quality matchup on free television? No. On April 2nd, for the 6th consecutive time, yeah, it's been confirmed, this was the 6th consecutive time the Usos were relegated to the pre-show of WrestleMania. Okay. Well, at least they'll be defending their titles. Nope, that they're going to compete in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, where they're guaranteed not to win. Yeah, that's seriously fucked up. Like, they just showed you they can do great matches in this new heel gimmick, but Vince doesn't want them on the show, and instead relegates them to Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal contestants of AKA jobbers, because really, at the end of the day, Mojo Rawley is going to win, with the help of outside interference. Yeah. Still trying to wrap my head around that logic. So, since they were not affected by the draft, also because they're tag team champions of a SmackDown branded title, the Usos are not going to Raw, thank God. So, the Usos managed to succeed in their first title defense by defeating American Alpha in a rematch, ending their feud, because then months later, Jason Jordan would sadly leave us to go to be Kurt Angle's illegitimate son. Yeah, how's that storyline working? Oh, it's not doing so well. And, yeah. So, after this, they would enter a feud with Breezango with a series of experimental, heading into Backlash, as I called it, the experimental show, because they were trying out all these different things, like Jinder Mahal getting pushed, and we all know how that ended up. Breezango, a comedy duo, being told, hey, you're gonna fight the tag team championship, you're gonna fight for the tag team titles, even though you're a comedy act, and that was really showing that this is the land of opportunity, and they were taking it really seriously and not just be a nameless gimmick. Breezango had a series of segments called Fashion Files, as I would like to call experimental styles, where they would just do these gimmicky, over-the-top, cartoony things, and they were good. They were really good. And then after the Usos, they had one more big segment where they looked like they were being fired, and they were feeling like they were disgraced, and they can't continue being these fashion police, and mistake Shane McMahon for an actual police commissioner, which is confusing. Yeah, that seriously happened. But, sure enough, Shane not understanding what the hell is going on, and then overly reacted when Tyler Breeze mentioned he had a gun, and I was like, yeah, you do realize, if they really did have a gun, you know for a fact they wouldn't be on the show. I mean, like, Brian Pillman had a gun and it was filmed at his house, or on-set location area, but that's a different matter. So, yeah. But following that, the Fashion Files segments, while a lot of them were good, it was originally looking like it was leading towards a debuting tag team, and then it just went to the Bludgeon Brothers, but even then that's inconsistent. Like, everyone thought it was going to be the Authors of Pain, or Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, because they had practically disappeared around this time. But sure enough, the Usos retained the tag team championships against Breezango despite their huge comedic antics, specifically Tyler Breeze dressing up in various gimmicky outfits. Yeah. Under the guise of going undercover. So after a back-to-back singles matches with Breezango and Jimmy and Jey Uso, Breezango challenged the Usos for the titles that same night, but once again were unsuccessful. And following this, it feels like there's virtually nowhere left to go. Well, there was a reason why Breezango was given this match. It was mostly because they needed to wait for the New Day. Because one of the members were injured, so that's why the delay happened. I can't remember who. I think it was Kofi Kingston. I could be wrong, but still. One of them were injured, that's why they hadn't made their debut when they were selected for SmackDown. And they just had a series of promos. So, the Usos would essentially kickstart practically a feud, one of the top feuds of the year, in WWE at least. If you were to say all of wrestling, that's going to be very debatable, especially since you're fighting with Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada trilogy. So, yeah. The Usos would defend their titles at Money in the Bank against the New Day, but lost as they intentionally got themselves counted out. As a result, they retained the titles. Yeah, I'm going to skip over Money in the Bank to to Battleground, mostly because I was on vacation. So, but then again, they fought in another Battleground in a match at Battleground, where surprisingly that was said to be the only good match on the pay-per-view. Yeah, if the show's being main evented by a Punjabi prison match by a guy who clearly is not really in the best of conditions, and Randy Orton has never been in this style of matchup before, and kind of was having a shitty year in my opinion. I'll get to him when I can. They would end their 124-day reign, and then it would be revealed that the Usos and the New Day would fight again on the SummerSlam pre-show. Yeah. And before that, they did this awesome rap battle between the New Day and the Usos. And even though the New Day, quote, won, the Usos stole it when they mentioned how don't go all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods, referencing something that is kind of uncomfortable regarding Xavier Woods and a certain female superstar who I will not mention if those who don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're going to look up on the internet. Let's just say this. She was contemplating things when her life seems to be going absolutely nowhere, so I will just leave it at that. That's what she says at least, so yeah. And yet people will not shut up joking about that despite the severity of the situation. So moving on. So the New Day would fight the Usos for the tag team titles again on the pre-show, and I was thinking like, oh, well, this is not going to be a good match. They were given nearly 20 minutes. A high-level quality match given nearly 20 minutes on the pre-show. Which leads me to think, why was this not on the goddamn pay-per-view? You could take out one of the matches and switch them to the pay-per-view, to the pre-show. I'm wondering why they did that. Like, I believe there was one match that you could actually take out and it would not matter for people. Let's see, what match was that? You could have taken out, let's see, Big Cass versus The Big Show with Enzo in a shark cage. That storyline that no one cared about, since it started derailing, like, a lot. Or, like, you could also put in Randy Orton versus Rusev, but that's a different matter. But yeah, you could take one of those two matches and put them on the pre-show, or you could take both and let the Usos and New Day go out for much longer. But sadly, we can't do that. However, when the Usos defeated the New Day, they are now the first team to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships twice. They also became the first tag team since the Dudley Boys in 2001 to become 4-time tag team champions. Sadly, their reign ended less than a month later when the New Day beat them in a Sin City street fight. Granted, it was still an awesome match. But then around this time, people were wondering, why were they trading the titles hot potatoing it? You know, like a certain feud on Raw that, while had awesome matches, sadly fell apart because of the hot potato style they were doing. Yeah, here's the thing. Apparently, Vince McMahon, in his state of insanity, wants to further change records in history that really don't need to be changed. You see, a report came out that not only did they want the Usos to surpass Demolition as longest reigning tag team champions of all time in WWE, now Vince wanted them to have the most reigns throughout the tag team history of WWE. Yeah, they want the New Day to break both records of longest reign of all time, which they did, and it was rightfully earned and was organic. But now they're gonna like do hot potato style pretty much. That's what I was fearing. And yeah, so that led to a huge freaking problem. especially since it would be more forced than actuality, because when it would happen back then, because they never acknowledged it until now, no one really cared, but now that it's etched in stone, and now Vince, how he operates now, that's really concerning. And around this time, the Usos, Ryan Ward was no longer lead writer of SmackDown and replaced by Road Dogg, and we all know how that's working out. Oh, and around this time, the Usos got a remix version of their theme song, where now they've added lyrics. Yeah, hasn't it seemed strange that virtually even what people would describe as the crappiest theme songs could suddenly become great with the added lyrics? Like, Baron Corbin. They went ahead and made I Bring the Darkness and as an instrumental theme, which a lot of people hated. But when Jim Johnson came in and said, let's add lyrics. Okay, let's add lyrics. And now everyone praises it as the greatest thing he's ever done. Sadly, it was the last thing you would do, as he would be fired a few months later. Yeah. I said I would get into that, but I still need time to vent on. I still need time to process that this is the reality we're sadly living in. So, the Usos would once again invoke their Money in the Bank contract. Oh wait, sorry, I get confused because it's so freaking similar. Their rematch clause at Hell in a Cell for the Tag Team Championships. However, the New Day, being crazy, stated they want to defend the titles in a Hell in a Cell match, which the Usos accepted. And apparently, people were saying this is the first time ever. It really isn't. There was DX versus Legacy in a 2-on-2 Hell in a Cell match. That was the first time ever, I believe. No, wait, I think, no, it was an episode of Raw where they had Hell in a Cell back in 1998 with Stone Cold, Mick Foley, and The Undertaker, Stone Cold, Kane, or The Undertaker, and Kane and Mick Foley. I can't remember which ones, but I do know it was those 4 guys. So that was technically the first time ever. So yeah, even then they can't make that claim. But in terms of being a full match, that goes to Legacy and Triple H and Shawn Michaels of DX. So the Usos versus the New Day happens at Hell in a Cell. And it was a really freaking awesome match. Like, nothing can be changed. Like, I really loved Xavier Woods' never say die attitude in the last several minutes. Like, I was like seriously saying, let's put this guy in the main event scene. I would love him to be in the main event scene. He can make good matches. He can tell a great story. Heck, he managed to make Bray Wyatt look like a threat despite the booking he had last year, despite the booking back in 2016. And then 2017 happened and it was possibly the worst year of his career, and I've already covered that. Yeah. But yeah, I really did love Xavier Woods in this match the most, especially where he just seized every time when they shot kendo sticks at him, and he was still being openly defiant. Yeah, so that was pretty awesome, especially when he started beating the crap out of the Usos with the handcuffs he was cuffed with. So yeah, that was an awesome way to end it. However, the Usos would get the tag team titles back, only confirming our fears of what was going to happen. However, I think that when they pretty much revealed that, yeah, this is not going to work out so well, and they needed a break, on October 10th episode of SmackDown, the Usos called out the New Day and offered a truce and explained how the two teams were the top on the show and claimed that they had respect for the New Day, turning face for the first time since September of 2016. So yeah, that happened, and I was like, wait, we're seriously taking a break from this feud? We're not going to drag it out until the New Day breaks the record? Oh my god, this might actually work out if they give it time and development. Though that means the New Day would have to come up with more material for the next several years if they were to pull this off. Yeah, I think they're not going to make it. So, yeah, anyways. However, the other teams of the Hype Bros, Breezango, and the Ascension, also Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, because like I said, Jason Jordan moved to Raw, to be Kurt Angle's illegitimate son. Chad Gable had a brief singles run and then got tag team with Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, I'm surprised that not one person on the internet claimed racism because, oh wait, so let's see if I get this straight. So, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan were a tag team, and then they broke up, and then then Chad Gable gets another black guy to tag team with him because, you know, the internet has a little problem with you know, new questionable implications there, although I don't give two shits. So, yeah. Also, this will lead to a Fatal 4-Way match was set up later in the show for a title shot, and Chad Gable and Benjamin won. And further showing the Usos were cementing their face turn is when they attempt to shake Benjamin and Gable's hands during a backstage segment, but the other team refused. Yeah, this was linked to something I was not expecting. Even when the Usos defended their titles against Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, they really need a team name, on November 7th episode of SmackDown, they lost by a countout, but they still keep the titles. But the way Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin were acting, it looked like they were setting up a double turn. Like, to officially cement that the Usos are faces, and now Benjamin and Gable are going to turn to the dark side. I mean, like, it looks like they're going that way, but when you think about it, there's... Let's see, the Hype Bros would disband later in the year, near the end of the year. We got the Bludgeon Brothers to replace them. The Ascension are faces, I think? Yeah, so there's like... Only like a... And we have Rusev and Eddie English. So we would have 3 heels and like, I think 4 face teams. So, yeah. However, so heading into this, for a couple of months ago, they were teasing an interpromotional tag team match with Ambrose and Rollins and the Usos for Survivor Series. However, since the Bar gained the tag team championships of Raw, they would fight the Usos at Survivor Series. And here's the thing I was so surprised by. They acknowledged last year's Survivor Series where the Usos said that last time it was us against the Bar. And the Bar won. This time, we're going to change history on that. And that was a pretty awesome match. And the Usos get their revenge. And I was like, oh my god, continuity? And it's not related to the Shield? Oh god, something's not right with this world. Okay, I have to believe Vince did not write that segment. So, yeah, and then following that, the Usos would practically engage in a feud with basically what little remained of the tag team division in terms of Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, The New Day, Aiden English and Rusev, and the Usos managed to retain a Clash of Champions. And sure enough, yeah, that was hilarious what the Usos do. And Rusev and English, I was rooting for them to win that match, honestly. I was seriously rooting for them. I wanted them to win that match, if nothing more because of Rusev. He's just so freaking awesome. Oh, man. However, this would also be the end of their 2017 run, as they were really relegated to temporal commentary. Like, they did a couple of commentary moments, which were awesome, but mostly it was to build up for the Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable feud with them, and to kickstart that once more, heading into 2018. And like I keep thinking, are they going to the dark side or no? Yeah, so I would be all for a double turn. I just hope it's done right. Like, they implanted hints of it, but we need to see if they'll actually commit to it. Oh no, the Usos had basically a grand rejuvenation of their stale characters. They went from being these whatever they were to being these thug-like gang members, but actually have a personality and not be stereotypical like some people thought would happen. The Usos' microphone skills drastically improved with their over-the-top attitudes. Oh man. They had pretty awesome matches in WWE in the small tag team division. Their feud with the New Day would solidify them as great tag teams of the heel division, pretty much. But yeah, that was ultimately, like, I added a fictional stake to this. Like, if the New Day won, I would have talked about them. But if the Usos won, I would talk about them. The Usos won, so I'm talking about their 2017. So, yeah, it was a great way to end things off for the Usos, especially now they're in 2018, ready to defend their tag team titles against all comers. I just hope they're in the actual main card of the show at WrestleMania. But I wouldn't be surprised if... I'm surprised they haven't acknowledged that in a promo. Where they get sick of being put in these style... being put on the kickoff show. And even then, they're not in a tag team match. They're relegated to basically being cannon fodder for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Like, let's see. 2015, it was against the... I believe it was the Dudleys? No, wait, that was 2016. That was against the Dudleys. 2015, I don't remember. 2014 was against. It was a multi-man tag team match with I'm trying to remember the other team. Oh wait, yeah, 2016. 2015 was a multi-man tag team match. 2014 was a multi-man tag team match. 2016. I was against the Dudley Boys, and 2017 was Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, all on the kickoff, and I'm wondering why the fuck are they not on the main card? I seriously hope they get put on the main card this year for 2018 for WrestleMania 34. It will be freaking awesome. So, yeah, I'm hoping for that to happen, but if they don't do it, I'm gonna be mad. So... yeah, the Usos clearly have shown they can hang with the big boys, so put them on the main card for goodness sake. Like, I don't know what their future could be like if they're separated and forced to and go to be single competitors. I don't think that could work. I don't know. Because, really, one can't work without the other. Whereas Edge and Christian, they could go their separate ways back then, no matter how sad it was to see them break up. But they managed to succeed going their separate ways because they had different personalities. But the Usos, they're practically the same guys. And I don't mean that because they're twins. They basically have the same gimmick. So, unless they decide to and have basically similar personalities, so unless they were to completely overhaul their characters, though, honestly, the only reason I think the Usos were allowed to get this popular now was because Ryan Ward was on SmackDown Live as the lead writer. If he wasn't lead writer, I don't think the Usos would have turned heel. So, yeah, this was happening purely because Ryan Ward actually gives a damn about the product. So, yeah, and now this is now the shortest video I've produced in the 27 on the thoughts on the Certain Wrestlers 2017. So I'm just gonna end it here, but I'll give you the hint who's the next guy at the end. So these were my thoughts on the Usos 2017. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate, stay tuned for more. And I will say, kill Owens, kill.